WNBA deletes post of Paige Bueckers and Angel Reese's making bet on their game. Now, before we get into the video, let me just say this. If nothing happens to these two ladies, there is a clear double standard when it comes to holding men accountable and when it comes to holding women accountable. If Paige and Angel don't get held accountable, I dare NBA players.
The WNBA just tried to erase something from the internet, and we are not letting that happen. Two of the most famous, most marketed, most talked about players in the entire history of women's basketball just got caught on camera doing something the league's own rulebook describes as grounds for a lifetime ban. We are talking about Angel Reese and Paige Bueckers, the two faces of the future of this sport, sitting together, cash in hand, making a direct money wager on the very game they were about to play in. And here is the part that makes your jaw hit the floor. The video was not leaked by a hacker. It was not stolen by some rogue journalist. The WNBA uploaded it themselves on their own official account for the entire world to see. And then the moment the backlash started flooding in, they panicked, scrambled, and deleted it like it never existed. But buddy, you already know how this goes. The internet does not forget. The screenshots were saved. The recordings were made. And right now, you and I are going to go through every single second of what they tried to hide, why it matters, and what the league's response tells us about the state of women's professional basketball in 2025. Before we get into this, drop a comment right now. Do you think Angel Reese and Paige Bueckers should have been suspended? Type yes or no. I want to see where Clark Update viewers stand on this, because what I'm about to show you is going to change your answer at least twice before this video is over.
With each other on this game, is that bet still?
This is how the rich stay.
At All-Star Weekend, you and Angel made a bet with each other on this game. Is that bet still?
This is how the rich stay rich. You gotta save this money. I'm gonna see you next week on Wednesday.
Yeah.
At night?
No, at practice.
Oh, at practice? I mean, I know y'all gonna lose, but if y'all lose, I get to have that. If y'all win, you get 400. I get 400. And if we lose, then you get. No, you owe me 400. Bet I'm staying on it.
Now, this was a bet made at All-Star Weekend about last night's game. This was a bet that they were talking about at All-Star Weekend on last night's game. And then the craziest part is,
to truly understand how deep this rabbit hole goes, you have to rewind the clock to All-Star Weekend. Not to the games, not to the performances, but to a practice session in Chicago that nobody thought would matter until it did. It was supposed to be a lighthearted moment between two competitors who have one of the most electric rivalries in the entire sport. Angel Reese, the Atlanta Dream's physical, dominant, outspoken superstar. Paige Bueckers, the Dallas Wings' silky, skilled, come-under-pressure phenomenon. Two players who grew up in the spotlight, who were supposed to represent the new era of women's basketball, and who, in a 31-second clip recorded on Angel Reese's own phone, proceeded to light a fuse that would eventually blow up in the league's face in spectacular fashion. Here is what went down, word for word. A reporter speaking at All-Star Weekend asks Bueckers directly, "You and Angel made a bet with each other on this game. Is that still on?" Without flinching, Bueckers looks right at the camera and says, "This is how the rich stay rich." Reese jumps in and starts talking about seeing Bueckers the following Wednesday. There is some back and forth about whether it is at night or at practice, and then it gets serious. Reese, completely unbothered, says plainly, "I know y'all are going to lose." Bueckers gets slightly confused on the terms, asking what happens if her team wins, and Reese corrects her immediately with zero hesitation. "No, you owe me $400. And there it was, on camera, with cash visibly present. Two professional athletes, actively playing in the same league, making a direct monetary wager on the outcome of a regular season game they were both going to be on the court for. Now here is the thing that separates this from locker room talk or friendly trash talking. This was not a vague comment about pride or bragging rights. This was a specific dollar amount, $400, agreed upon, confirmed, captured on video, by one of the players' own phones. And the moment Reese said bet, it crossed from playful banter into territory that the WNBA's own collective bargaining agreement treats with the harshest possible language. At the time the video was recorded, nobody in that room seemed to think it was a problem. But what happened next would turn that 31-second clip into the most talked about piece of footage in the league's entire 2025 season.
they got a real problem. I mean, seriously, you've got people, and I'm going to be real. I'm tagging Kash Patel in this. I'm tagging J.D. Vance. I'm tagging Senator Ted Cruz. Augusta Fugler. Sorry. You got yourself a federal betting scandal. Is what you've really got. I mean, it's wild. All of these NBA players, former NBA players getting sent up. And they thought this was a good idea, and the league shared it. Leave it to the WNBA. Who is this? Jackson Thompson? Alejandro Oliva on Outkick. Leave it to the WNBA to turn a friendly $400 wager into a promoted gambling controversy.
Here is where this story goes from interesting to completely unbelievable. Because in most scandals, the cover-up comes from someone else. A whistleblower, an anonymous source, a leaked text. But in this case, the entity that handed the internet a loaded weapon and pulled the trigger themselves was the WNBA's own official social media team. Just hours before the Atlanta Dream and the Dallas Wings were scheduled to tip off on Wednesday night, July 29th, 2025, the league's official X account uploaded the All-Star Weekend clip in its entirety. All 31 seconds of it. They did not trim it. They did not edit out the part about the $400. They posted the whole thing with a promotional caption highlighting Bueckers' confidence, quoting her response to the reporter, "Bet, I'm standing on it." Think about that for a second. The league's own communications team, the people who are paid specifically to manage the public image of the organization, watched that video, approved it, scheduled it, and hit publish on the same day as the game being wagered on. And at no point during that entire process did a single person in that room raise their hand and say, "Wait, are we really about to post video evidence of our two biggest stars betting cash on tonight's game?" Not one person caught it, and that alone tells you something significant about how seriously this league takes its own rules. The moment the post went live, fans who actually knew the CBA started flooding the comments. The language in Section 5C of the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement is not ambiguous. It explicitly prohibits any player from wagering, directly or indirectly, money or anything of value on the outcome or score of any WNBA competition. The penalties listed include financial fines, multi-game suspensions, and in the most severe cases, complete and permanent disqualification from the league. These are not minor consequences. These are career-ending consequences, and the league had just posted the evidence themselves. Within minutes, the backlash went from a ripple to a tidal wave. Sports media accounts started screaming. Fans started screenshotting. Clips were being saved and reposted faster than any PR team could track. The WNBA's front office, realizing the catastrophic scale of what had just happened, scrambled into full damage control. The post was deleted, but by then, it did not matter. The video had already been saved, clipped, shared, and turned into content across every platform on the internet. The league had just accidentally become the star witness in its own scandal.
Their Facebook. Once people pointed out, hey, you are sharing a video of two of your marquee players betting on the game that is tonight, there could be some kind of conflict of interest. In fact, several people on social media pointed out that in the CBA of the WNBA, any player found by the commissioner to have been guilty of wagering on or attempting to wager on any value of the game shall be subject to fine, suspension, dismissal, or disqualification.
And they both should be disqualified. We got the evidence. We don't need to have a hearing. We got the evidence. They can't play tonight. Is it tonight?
Yeah,
well, they're already playing.
It's in your face right now.
All right, timeout. Get them out of the game. And the one thing we did find out is Adam Silver placed a bet on the game as well, because you know he's big into gambling.
He is big into gambling. Look, man.
Perfect timing, Alex. You couldn't have hit a better one than that.
Man, this is where...
Now let's slow things down for a moment, because a lot of people in the comment sections were going back and forth about whether this was actually a violation or just two friends joking around. So let's put that debate to rest right now by looking at exactly what the rules say, in plain language with no spin. The WNBA's collective bargaining agreement is the official binding contract between the league and its players. It governs everything salaries, conduct, suspensions, fines, and yes, gambling. And Section 5C of that agreement is one of the clearest, most aggressively worded sections in the entire document. The rule states that any player found by the commissioner to have wagered, directly or indirectly, money or anything of value on the outcome or score of any WNBA competition shall be subject to a fine, suspension, dismissal, or disqualification from further association with the WNBA. There are 4 possible consequences listed there: fine, suspension, dismissal, disqualification. Not one of those is a light tap on the wrist. The most severe outcome, disqualification, is the equivalent of a lifetime ban. It is the nuclear option. And it is sitting right there in the same sentence as the $400 cash bet that Angel Reese and Paige Bueckers made on camera. Now, to put this into even sharper context, consider the financial landscape the WNBA currently operates in. This is no longer a niche product with a small audience. Analysts have reported that WNBA games attracted an estimated $1.5 billion in legal sports bets in 2025 alone. That is a staggering number. That is the kind of number that makes every single sportsbook in the country pay very close attention to anything that could compromise the integrity of the outcome of a game. When billions of dollars are being wagered by fans and bettors across the country on the exact same games that players are betting on themselves, the conflict of interest becomes enormous. It is not just a rules violation. It is a threat to the financial trust that the entire betting ecosystem is built on. This is precisely why the NBA has historically come down so hard on players who step anywhere near this line. The word integrity is not just a buzzword in professional sports. It is the product. The moment fans believe games might not be on the level, the entire operation starts to collapse. And 2 of the WNBA's biggest names had just stepped directly onto that line, on camera, with cash in hand. The moment the deleted post went viral, the sports media world did not walk toward this story. It sprinted, full speed, no brakes. Clay Travis, who has built an entire brand around tracking gambling integrity issues in professional sports, was one of the first major voices to amplify the clip. He posted it directly to his platform and did not hold back in his assessment. His words were precise and brutal. The WNBA posted a video of Angel Reese and Paige Bueckers betting $400 on which team would win, then deleted it after realizing it violated league rules. This entire league is run by morons. He followed that up with another post specifically calling out the social media team. "I cannot comprehend how dumb you have to be to post this video from the league's official account. Sub 70 IQ. And then he turned his attention to the players themselves. And how stupid are the players too? On video, betting with cash. That is not a measured, nuanced take. That is a fully loaded reaction from someone who understands exactly what the gambling integrity rules in professional sports are designed to protect. And Travis is not alone in this space. He has spent years covering gambling-related controversies in the NBA, and he knows the weight of what a video like this represents. On radio, commentators like Rob Parker were equally explosive in their response. The argument from Parker and others was straightforward and difficult to refute. If the WNBA wants to sit at the same table as the NBA and the NFL, it cannot have its 2 marquee players publicly wagering cash on their own games and face 0 consequences. Parker called for immediate, severe suspensions. He argued that the league's credibility, already questioned by certain segments of the sports media, would take a direct hit if the commissioner let this slide without meaningful punishment. The comparisons to the NBA were everywhere. The league under Adam Silver has opened formal investigations into players for far less visible and far less documented gambling-adjacent behavior. The names started getting brought up players who had faced scrutiny, investigations, or consequences over the years for involvement in gambling situations. The contrast was stark and uncomfortable for anyone defending the WNBA's response, or more accurately, its lack of one. By Thursday morning, the deleted video had been viewed millions of times across platforms, and the pressure on the league's front office to respond was reaching a boiling point. While the sports media universe was in full meltdown mode, and the WNBA's PR team was desperately trying to contain the damage, something remarkable was happening in the background that a lot of people seem to forget. The game that the bet was made on still had to be played. Wednesday night, July 29, 2025, the Atlanta Dream versus the Dallas Wings, two franchises, two superstars at the center of a league-wide gambling controversy, and thousands of fans, plus every single sports media outlet on the internet, watching to see what would happen when the tip went up. The betting markets, which had already been processing action on this game all day, had the Dream favored by 1.5 points. The total, meaning the combined score of both teams, was set at 181.5. Those numbers matter because every bettor in the country was sitting on a ticket that was now connected to a controversy that had gone fully national just hours before tip-off. And the game itself, it delivered in a way that almost felt scripted. This was not a blowout. This was not a game that fizzled out by halftime. It went down to the final buzzer. The Atlanta Dream held on for a razor-thin 1-point victory, defeating the Dallas Wings by a final score of 82-81. The total points scored came in at 163, landing comfortably under the 181.5 line. Every single aspect of that game, the margin, the total, the way it finished, kept every bettor locked in until the final second. And the two players at the center of the controversy, they both showed up and showed out. Angel Reese was a force of nature from the opening tip. She finished the night with 22 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists. A complete dominant performance that made it impossible to argue she was not locked in and competing at the highest level. Paige Bueckers, on the losing end of the bet in the scoreboard, was not far behind, 16 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. She fought hard until the final buzzer. The game was great. The performances were legitimate, but none of that erased what was on that 31-second video. And the moment the final buzzer sounded and Angel Reese grabbed the win, the story shifted immediately from what happened on the court to what was about to happen off of it. Most players, after winning a game that was tied to a nationally covered controversy, would walk to the post-game podium, say the right things, keep their head down, and let their PR team handle the rest. That is the safe play. That is the smart play. That is what you do when lawyers and league executives are watching your every word. Angel Reese is not most players. In the post-game availability, with reporters and cameras pointed directly at her, fresh off a 1-point victory that secured her the $400 cash bet she had made weeks earlier at All-Star Weekend, Reese did not deflect. She did not downplay. She did not apologize. Instead, she looked at the reporters, smiled, and said, "Yeah, I'll be requesting my Apple Pay." Let that sit for a second. The league had spent the entire day trying to erase the video evidence of this bet from the internet. The front office was in full crisis mode. Legal teams were likely being consulted. Commentators across the country were calling for suspensions and fines, and the player at the center of all of it just publicly confirmed, with complete confidence and zero remorse, that she was actively in the process of collecting her winnings. The internet reacted exactly the way you would expect. Half of the sports world absolutely loved the audacity. The other half completely lost their minds. Social media flooded with reactions, fans who thought it was the most charismatic, unbothered response possible, and analysts who saw it as proof that neither player took the severity of the rule violation seriously for even a single second. From a pure personality standpoint, it is hard to argue that Angel Reese does not understand the assignment when it comes to generating attention and staying relevant. She leaned directly into the controversy at the exact moment the league was trying to walk away from it. And by doing so, she kept the story alive for at least another full news cycle. But here is the uncomfortable truth that no amount of charisma can paper over. By publicly referencing the collection of the bet after the game had concluded, Reese was not just being bold. She was, reports suggest, potentially adding another layer to an already complicated situation. Because now it was not just a video from weeks ago. It was a confirmed, post-game acknowledgement that the wager had been real. The terms had been honored, and no one involved seemed particularly concerned about the rulebook. The pressure on the WNBA to respond was now at its absolute peak. By Thursday morning, the WNBA had no choice but to say something. The silence had become its own story. Every hour the league went without a formal response was another hour of analysts, commentators, and fans filling that void with their own conclusions. And those conclusions were not flattering. So the league released an official statement. And what it said, or more accurately, what it deliberately chose not to say, told you everything you needed to know about how this organization operates when its biggest stars are under the microscope. A league spokesperson addressed the deleted post first, describing it as a video that simply missed the mark and was removed shortly after publication. They framed the entire situation as a lapse in editorial judgment, rather than what it actually was, a league-sanctioned post promoting video evidence of a potential gambling policy violation. The spokesperson then confirmed that WNBA players receive annual training on betting policies, and that the league takes those policies seriously. And then came the verdict. The WNBA officially declined to issue any punishment to either Angel Reese or Paige Bueckers. No fine, no suspension, no formal investigation, no dismissal, no disqualification, nothing. The league stated it had addressed the matter internally and would use the situation as an opportunity to, quote, re-emphasize that conversations about wagering, even in a joking context, can have unintended negative consequences. Read that language carefully. The league called it a joking context. The same league whose CBA makes zero distinction between a serious bet and a casual one. The rule does not say unless it's just for fun. It does not say unless it's only $400. It says any wager of any value on any WNBA competition is subject to consequences up to and including permanent disqualification. The league wrote that rule. And then, when two of its most marketable players broke it on camera, it decided to file the whole thing under a learning moment and move on. The sports world's reaction to the non-punishment was immediate and pointed. The argument that had been building since the video first went viral now had its final definitive piece. Rob Parker, Clay Travis, and dozens of other media voices made the same point in different ways. If these had been two high-profile NBA players caught on video making a cash bet on their own game hours before tip-off, the response from the league office would have looked nothing like this. Investigations would have been opened. Lawyers would have been involved. The process would have been public, formal, and severe. Instead, the WNBA handed its two biggest stars a verbal reminder and called it a day. Here is the part nobody wants to say out loud, but everyone is thinking. This was not handled as a rules violation. It was handled as a branding decision. Angel Reese and Paige Bueckers are the WNBA's most valuable commercial assets in 2025. They drive viewership, they drive sponsorships, and they drive the kind of cultural conversation that keeps the league relevant. And the moment the front office had to choose between enforcing its own rulebook and protecting those two revenue streams, the rulebook lost. That is not speculation. That is the decision they made, documented on the record. The deeper question this entire situation raises is one that the league cannot afford to ignore forever. If the rules only apply when applying them is convenient, then what exactly are the rules for? The WNBA spent years asking to be taken seriously alongside the NBA and NFL. But serious leagues enforce serious rules, even when it hurts. And right now, the scoreboard on that question does not look great. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Did the league make the right call? Or did they just prove that the rulebook only matters when the stars are not involved? I want to hear exactly what you think. Stay locked on Clark Update.